I was thinking about the slide you show about the investment, production
Yeah.
capacity and investment. So you think that by 2030 we will have no... It's one before. You don't see that we invest in production capacity, or
I think we will. That is curve, but this is actually what is right now
yeah,
planned, and right now what's decision has been taken by boards right now. So even though, for example, we are having our technology, we don't build a demo plant just because it's fun. We of course build a demo plant because we want to build a big plant or several big plants to commercialize. And we know SCA, for example, have their environmental with 300,000 tons. We know UPM. We know there are a lot of players. So I definitely think that this will come. But we don't have any decisions today for
okay.
advanced biofuels.
So if you should just guess, how could this flat line
I don't
increase?
think we will go up above 1 million tons, so like 1,000 here, until 2030. It's in Sweden. It will be really, really tough to go there. But it depends a bit also what's happening with, for example, lignin. How much lignin we can extract and how efficient it can be, and also. But because then it might be a bit easier. Building these advanced biofuels with very solid biomass, it's it's much longer time for the investments, and for the buildings, for all environmental permits and things like that. So in that case, the lignin or the black liquor is maybe the chance of getting higher here.
Okay, thank you. So now we open up for questions from you. Do you have any? Yes, there are one. There is a microphone coming.
Thank you. Joanne Ellis from SSPA here in Gothenburg. I was wondering about the biomethanol that you're starting to produce by the end of this year. If you have any market or users for the biomethanol yet, and what your plans are for that?
We have. We are finalizing the contracts right now, so we have a market, and we will go out and be able to talk more about it in some weeks.
Vänta lite. Magnus, du får lugna dig. There is a question in the back before. Yeah, sorry.
Shall I or? It was both, but you can start. Okay. I almost forgot the question. Well, European Union, they seem to be a trouble here because they try to ban biofuels and all bioenergy. It seems to be very unenvironmental in the European Union to use biomass. And what do you plan to do about it? How will you handle that little problem?
Maybe we shall pass over to the next question to Patrik. No, the European Union is a big problem. It's of course a big opportunity as well. But we have this renewable energy directive that seems to be able to end up really bad, which actually ended up quite well in the end, after strong work from both the industry, the Swedish parliament, the Finnish parliament, and all our people knowing forest. But now there are new challenges all the time, it seems. Now we have a taxonomy, which is great. It can be really bad for this type of investments. So I think the only thing we can do is actually to go down to Brussels and talk to the people there, and explain what we are doing and that this is sustainable, and that we are creating jobs here. We are creating both. We are doing it at the countryside and also. So I think that what we have to do with the European Union is actually to educate them.
You can team up with Eastern Europe, Poland, Czech Republic,
it's of course
Slovakia.
I think
they have a lot of forests underutilized.
And I think we have to team up both with the forest industry and also with, for example, the refineries, and also the manufacturers of trucks, for example. So we team up and go from different industries with the same message. And then, of course, we're getting more and more countries. It's also good, but we have to have more industries together, and we have to have a lot of countries together. So we are working for the forest industry, for example. We are starting up an office now in Brussels to team up more with other countries and start with that work.
Okay, 2 more questions, Patrick and Magnus.
Hello everyone, Patrick Klintbom, representing RISE, and I'm also the chairman of the European Technology Innovation Platform for Bioenergy in Brussels. So I was not supposed to ask your question, but I would say I think right now there's a lot of things happening in Brussels, and of course there's a constant challenge about the, let's say, the view of biomass and the sustainability. But I think there should be. I myself is quite positive. I think there's a lot of good talk, and also I think it's also starting to boil down to that electrification is not enough. We also need the sustainable biofuels. So I see it quite the opposite, even though there are a lot of challenges going ahead. For example, using forest and so on. But I had a question, and that is, you described the risk, the high risk, and there's, let's say, a multifaceted risk with market risk, technology risk. What would be your, let's say, wish list to, what kind of tool would you like to see to take out that risk from your, let's say, view?
The toughest risk for us is the political risk. The other ones we can in different way handle. We used to handle market risks, for example. The pulp industry is really much fluctuating, and also when the market is changing, more or less everyone is changed. So then you have to be better than your competitors. But the political risks is really the hardest for us. And the wish list for the first is to have a good program where you actually helping the ones to take new technology to a higher TRL level of some support. I know, for example, the EU Innovation Fund might be the tool here. And then, of course, we shall not, if we can use funding from EU, we shall not have the same funding in every country, then it's better to use EU. But then also, we have to have, actually, what's most important is actually to have a strategy of how are we getting production. We can't just work with the demand side. We have to work with the supply side. And what we see, for example, in Sweden right now is we have worked with the demand side for decades, and we are best in the world on demand. We have not worked on the supply side at all, and we are not good on supply. You get what you're aiming for. If you only put your effort on demand, you will only get demand. So we have to have a really strong strategy of how to get supply, and then combine different tools.
Okay, short question, short answer.
Magnus Fröberg from Scania. What is, if you have a million tons a year production from forest-based fuels, what's the cost of it per liter?
Oh,
very narrowly. I mean, is it €1 per liter, 1.50, €2?
I have not done the calculation of this enormous factories. The problem to have that big factory to produce this is that then you will have a more expensive feedstock, since you have to transport the feedstock for longer distance. So actually, the size is not that easy to just build a really, really big plant, because you have to be close to the feedstock as well all the time. So my question is that size don't matter that much that it will be extremely cheap. It's not really answering a question, but
So to summarize, it will be a little bit more expensive than fossil fuels.
Read all the reports by Pål.
But we have that from ST1, I think, was a presentation about prices, wasn't that? There was a picture also showing different. Okay, Henrik, thank you so much for your presentation. And here we have some chocolate for you.
Oh,
yep.
thank you.
Yep, thank you. And then we welcome the next speaker.